the foreign issues that I promised you we'll look at, Madagascar's new government has stripped former President Andry Rajoelina, who was ousted in a coup last week, of his citizenship. The order was signed by new Prime Minister Rajaonarimampianina in an official decree on Friday, citing local laws. Madagascar's Article 42 stipulates that a citizen who voluntarily acquires a foreign nationality automatically loses their Malagasy citizenship. Rajoelina acquired French nationality voluntarily by naturalization in 2014. In Cameroon, opposition leader Issa Chiroma Bakari has called on the citizens to take to the streets if what he calls falsified results are announced in Monday's presidential poll outcome. 92-year-old President Paul Biya, in power for more than 4 decades, is seeking an 8th term amid mounting allegations of fraud and irregularities. Chiroma claims he won 54.8% of the vote against Biya's 31.3%, urging Cameroonians to march for liberation and defend what he calls the true victory. Authorities have since banned public gatherings and restricted motorcycle movement ahead of Monday's official announcement as tensions rise nationwide. In a video message, he called on his compatriots to defend what he described as a democratic victory, warning against any attempt to manipulate the results of the October 12 presidential election. Tributes have been pouring in also for a former Prime Minister of Kenya and opposition leader Raila Odinga, who recently died in India at the age of 80. President William Ruto said the veteran politician who died while receiving medical treatment was a beacon of courage and father of our democracy. Odinga spent many years as an opposition leader, losing 5 presidential campaigns, most recently 3 years ago. Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said Odinga embodied the spirit of Pan-Africanism. Other world leaders have in like manner been sending their condolences, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who described him as a towering statesman and a cherished friend of India. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa said he was a leader who placed the interests of his country and continent first. Nicolas Sarkozy has also become the first former president of France, to go to jail, as he starts a 5-year sentence for conspiring to fund his election campaign with money from late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Not since World War II, Nazi collaborationist leader Philippe Pétain was jailed for treason in 1945 as any French leader, ex-leader, gone behind bars. Sarkozy, who was president from 2007 through 2012, has appealed against the jail term at La Santé prison, where he will occupy a small cell in the isolation wing of the facility. I'm now being joined for his thoughts on these foreign stories by Ambassador Keshi, a retired Nigerian diplomat. Good to see you again, Ambassador Keshi, and thank you for asking us anytime we come knocking on your door. I don't know where you want to start from. Quite a long list of foreign issues. Maybe perhaps you start with Nicolas Sarkozy and what it means in real terms that the former president is now being jailed.
Well, I think first of all, nice to see you again and thanks for having me. I think 2 of the issues, Sarkozy in France and the stripping of nationality of the former Madagascar president, I think they border on the rule of law. If this is what the law has said, in the case of Madagascar, I believe that the president of Madagascar, the former president of Madagascar, violated the law even before he became president. But the interesting thing, Ruben, is that the question may be asked, did the current regime Did they just know that he has a French nationality, or they knew, but they chose to ignore it and allow him to become president a couple of years ago? So this could actually just be that, look, they just decided to take further action, but they already knew before he became president that he took French nationality, I think about 2014 or thereabout, and he became president a couple of years ago. So it's a matter of, well, they just woke up one morning and decided that they can now apply the law that they should have applied a couple of years ago. But for the French president, if he violated the law of the land, he's paying the price for it. On a general, level, I think this sends a clear message to presidents around the world, particularly in the African continent, that look, one day or the other, the law will catch up with you if you violate the law. You can break the law as president. You can do whatever you like as president, as we are seeing in Africa today, especially in Africa today, even in the United States, by the way. But certainly one day, you will be caught, the law itself will catch you up, and you pay the price for violating, the law. But the president, again, we must be fair to him. He keeps saying that he's innocent, and I think he has made an appeal to the court, to the higher courts, but he has to go to jail before his case is heard. With regards to Madagascar, look, what happened is Madagascar is similar to what is playing out in nearby neighboring country in Cameroon. When governments create its own bubble and its supporters, articulate a different, the same message without listening to the people's silence or without listening to the people's reaction to the noise that they create. You find out that invariably something, would go wrong. In Madagascar, what actually led to the coup was that the president had a complete different agenda and was given the impression that things were normal. He wanted, what they call an urban infrastructure to improve the state capital and a few other towns, while the people were complaining of basic things like power, water shortage, and the high cost of living. But the president chose to continue with his own agenda. Just like we hear the noise here, inflation is going down, but when you go to some sectors, the cost of living is still very high in this country, for example. And that's because we keep hearing this whole noise. IMF says this, World Bank says this, things are improving in Nigeria. Of course, there are certain areas things might be improving, but governments must endeavor to hear the silence of the people. They must endeavor to hear the noise of the people, not only theirs, so that they can save democracy, from collapsing, as it has collapsed in, Madagascar and somewhere else, around West Africa.
Okay, Your Excellency.
But with regard to,
Okay, I was going to ask you
Cameroon.
about Raila Odinga, but you can go ahead with Cameroon first. After Cameroon, we'll talk about Raila Odinga.
Look, I just have one question in Cameroon, that don't be surprised if at the end of the day, this Cameroon experiences a coup d'etat. There's absolutely, because the conditions for coups to happen is created by the politicians. And in a number of other countries, we've been in this situation and the military had intervened. You remember, I don't know whether it was 2 years ago, was it in Gabon? We had this kind of situation, if I'm right, and if my memory serves me right. I think it was in Gabon, we had elections like this, and some results were declared that didn't go down well. And at the end of the day, the military intervened. So don't be surprised. That's the only statement I want to make about, if a coup happens in Cameroon. And by the way, to show that the ruling party and the president, that they already know they've lost the election, they've made overtures to the leader of the opposition to accept the post of the prime minister so that they can form a national government, and he has rejected. Why would you make an overture to your opponent when the results have not been announced or you do not know the result? It just shows you that these guys in Cameroon are more interested in power than in actually serving or saving the country itself. So I sincerely hope that they can resolve their problem and we will not experience coup in a neighboring country, because that also will be very, very dangerous even for Nigeria itself, given the fact that we are also going through rumors of coups here and the rest of it. And finally, to Odinga. Look, let me just say something about Odinga that I like best. Number one, since I was in school, I love that name, Odinga, more because of his father, who bear the same name. Very unfortunately, his father also died struggling to be the president of Kenya, particularly, and here again you have the irony or the unfortunate situation of his own son fighting 5 or 6 elections also to be president of Kenya and never made it. But the good thing is what you said in your intro, what other heads of states have said about him. He kept fighting for the people. He kept raising issues about the people. And he was, in so many ways, a Pan-Africanist as well, just like his father, who joined Jomo Kenyatta to fight for the independence of Kenya. And I think in that fight, that's what you saw when the nation decided to honor him with the kind of funeral that they gave to an opposition leader. It was simply because they valued him, they valued the fight, they knew he was fighting the right cause. They knew he was a very sincere man, and they knew that circumstances did not allow him to become president of Kenya. And the best they could do at his death was to give him such a fantastic state burial.
Well, on that note, I would like to thank you very much, Ambassador Keshi, for joining us on This Day Live, the Sunday Talk Show.